Well, as part of my winter maintenance, I'm thinking of putting on some extra solar panels on the boat. A couple of reasons for that. I mean, after we installed these high efficiency Perspex panels on the boat for the induction cooktop, they kept up with the induction cooking really well during the summertime when there's longer days, but in the middle of winter you need a lot more engine charging. So to avoid excess engine charging on the for using the cooktop, I've decided to put in an extra 140 watts of panels. Now obviously in a boat like the RL28, when you've got lots of stuff on here already, it's pretty hard to find a place to put it, and it's a bit hard to show here, but I've got the bimini here, got the solar panels behind, and there's only a very small gap, very small gap in here between the bimini and the thing, but it's just wide enough for two 75 watt panels, so I'm going to get an extra 150 watts in fact. So I'm going to make myself an aluminium support that goes in here, and I have to work out how I'm going to actually make that support and what it's going to attach to without it getting in the way. It's going to have another benefit, and it will provide a bit more protection from the sun and rain when sailing without using the bimini, so I'll have a little bit of a shaded area where I can sit if I want to, and I can move into the sunny area when I want to as well. So the extra panels will be for, like I say, reducing the amount of engine charging I need to use to keep up with the electrical demands, especially now that I've got an induction cooktop, and also for longer trips where your extra panels never go astray, and it's always good to have extra generating capacity. Now, to support these new panels, I say I'm using 25mm tube from Whitworth, and what we've got down here is the sort of area that we've got to support. Now we've got a back brace here from the bimini, we've got the push bit, so what I've decided to do is to support it on the back brace to the bimini and to support it on the corner of the push bit here. And took quite a bit of mucking around to get the heights and everything right so that the panels will sit level and at the right height to avoid with the wind stream when driving, and also to make sure they're not going to get in the way of the mast raising and that sort of thing. But with a bit of care, you work it out. And of course, to build this solar panel support, you've got to have to do some pipe bending, which I never enjoy because my pipe bender is a pretty crude one and never does a particularly good job. So I've gone on to eBay, and you can buy these intercooler bends. If you look around, you'll find some 25mm ones, same diameter, internal and external diameter as the Whitworth tube. And you can very simply get a bit of sleeving aluminium, put it in the end, rivet it in, and slot it into straight tube, and you end up with beautifully formed corners to your support. Alright, so once you've got your uprights off your push bit, you make your cross beams, of course, with, let's say, with the intercooler tube bends in them, all riveted in place. They just slot into the upright tubes, and we'll end up putting a rivet there to lock it all together, and you've got your nice cross beam already. So we've got our two support rails made now. Obviously they're going to have to be positioned, they're going to have to be drilled, panels attached, and we're going to have to put some braces on there as well to make sure it stays in the correct position once they're all fixed down properly. Okay, so we're bolting on the solar panels now. I mean, the supports are quite wobbly until we put a triangular cross brace in. But at the moment, what we want to do is attach the solar panels nice and centrally, and after that we'll put in the triangular cross brace to permanently lock it into position. This bit can be a bit tricky because obviously the supports move, so you tend to strap them down with a flaky strap here or there just to hold them in position while you get these done. And so I'm going to get this guard stake that's 2 centimetres wide. I'm going to place it between it and the bimini, and then I'm going to strap it down while I attach the panels more securely. Very like a jigsaw puzzle working on boats, trying to get everything just right so that it all fits and all works. Just to hold the ends in. Very simple. Obviously use aluminium rivets for this because otherwise you will end up with galvanic corrosion from using stainless or galvanised, especially stainless. But yeah, if you use aluminium rivets, I use a nice large 3/16 rivet so that it's got a bit of strength to it, or it won't corrode away too quickly and all the rest. It's important in this particular process to only rivet one end though at the moment, because the braces I'm putting on have got a slight angle both outwards and towards the frame, which will also give it stability side to side and back to front. So it's really important to rivet only one end, attach the top end first, and then attach the bottom end and tighten the whole lot up. Okay, so the idea of the triangulation braces is to stop this moving back and forward and a little bit from side to side as well. It's pretty strong side to side already, but a little bit of bracing doesn't hurt. So what I want to do is attach a brace from up here somewhere across and angle it across to the push bit down here. So it's got a slight angle inwards and an angle backwards that locks this position, this support from rotating back and forward, and a little bit from flexing side to side. Alright, so that's nicely positioned there. Alright, so I want to leave enough room for this rope to sit in here, but that's about right there. That's about right there. So we can do them up. There we go. And put the rivet in there so it's held securely. There we go. And the last step is just to tighten up the bottom fitting, make sure they're both tight, and then our solar panel support should be finished and nice and secure. Release the lucky straps up top which you've got holding it, and make sure that it's nice and secure and the whole thing works. Just perfect. That's exactly how you want it, because the bimini is exactly the same. You want it to be able to move a bit, but not too much, and that should work perfectly. Right. What I'll do now is we're going to go over all the fittings, make sure they're all done up properly, and next step will be wiring. So I tend to use Anderson plugs when I do my solar things, because it's easy to combine pairs of cables together and hold them all nice and neatly than these solar fittings. The solar fittings are waterproof, mind you, so you know they've got their advantages too. But my preference is for the Anderson plugs. They're easy to dismantle, you can clean the pins off easily, but they also tend to corrode a little bit too, so you know, pluses and minuses. But yeah, first step, 2 panels. We're going to connect them in parallel, and I'm going to connect them in parallel to my existing panels. Now, a bit of a word on connecting panels in parallel. The other panels aren't the exact same panels, they're the same brand. They're I think within half a volt of the same voltage, and that's actually the most critical part. If you're going to run different panels in parallel, they have to be pretty close in voltage, otherwise you'll get a big decrease in the efficiency of the whole lot together. You know, if they're vastly different in voltage, you'll get an averaging down of the voltage, and the current will be less than you would if you had them both separately. So, but in this case, they're only half a volt different in their maximum voltage. And they're the same brand, so I'm happy to combine them in parallel. So what we do to start off with, red end plug, positive, connect the 2 positives together into an Anderson plug, so into an Anderson plug, connect the 2 negatives together into an Anderson plug so the polarity is correct, and then I'll work out a way of connecting it to the existing panel with a connecting cable. So that's the first step. So combine the 2 positives together there into a single 16mm Anderson plug crimp, and we're going to just crimp it down so that it's well and truly going to be durable. And always heat shrink the lugs that I put on these things on the boat. I'll keep the salt out of them and makes them a bit more durable. I mean, all the cables should be tinned anyway, but even so, it still helps to make them last longer. And we want to make sure the polarity is correct on the Anderson plug, so positive on that side, that way up. There we go. Now it's in. So we'll repeat the same process with the negative cables. Chopped off the plugs on either end, and we'll strip them off, whack an Anderson plug log on, and that way the two are combined parallel in the one plug. This is why I use the Anderson plugs. So they've got their disadvantages, but in some ways they've got their advantages too. And that's in. There we go. One set of paralleled solar panels. Okay, so whether you use Anderson plugs or whether you use the MC4 connectors is up to you. I mean, the MC4 connectors do have the advantage of being technically waterproof, although I found over the years that quite a few of them have leaked, and once they're corroded you can't do anything other than cut them off and put a new one on. Whereas I find with the Anderson plugs, I can pull the lugs out, give them a sandpaper down, and they keep on going. So that's why I use Anderson plugs. But you know, it's a matter of preference. Anyway, now that we've put the Anderson plug on and paralleled these two panels together, we're trying to route them so that I'll have to tidy this up a bit still. It goes across the frame to the Anderson plug, which is kept under the panel so it's out of the weather. And then we'll route it down and we'll connect up to the other solar panels that are on the davits there. Okay, so we're making an extension lead from the new panels to the old panels. This is the feed cable down to the solar regulator in the boat. And the simple rule to remember is you connect negative to negative, positive to positive, you're connecting in parallel. In most simple installations, parallel is the way to go. So red to red, black to black, on all the connections, the two panels, red to red, black to black, and to the boat's regulator, again, red to red, black to black, to connect it all up in parallel. I've added an extra cable to act as an extension to the new solar panels. Again, all the connections, red to red, black to black, parallel connections, and that's because the panels are close enough in voltage to be able to do that. So, anyway, we'll heat shrink it and should be ready to go. And we heat shrink around the terminals and things just to hold the cables together, to make it nice and neat, make it a bit more durable and robust. Okay, all that's left now is to connect up all the plugs and tie it up all neatly with electrical ties, and we've got our panels ready to go. Okay, so we're inside the boat now, and because I've already got an existing solar panel charging system, I don't need to install new regulators and all that sort of thing, providing the regulators have got a high enough capacity, which I know they have. So my system here, which I'm sure you've seen before in some of my other videos, consists of DC to DC charger. Now the reason I use DC to DC charger is, well, one, it includes an MPPT solar regulator in it, which means it makes the most of the higher voltage, converting it to current. So you get a good current being put into the batteries when they're charging, but it also protects the batteries from overcharging when the alternator current's also put through it, because this has connections for both alternator and for solar, so it does both at the same time. All the wiring for the from the solar panel we've just done all comes to the DC charger here. It's pretty simple wiring really, and then from the DC charger it goes to the battery. So now we have 240 watts of panels on the davits and another 150 watts worth of panels installed over the deck. These are all purse-backed panels, which make them more efficient, and I'm actually very impressed with how much more efficient they are than the old panels, so I'd recommend them. So if you're thinking of installing solar panels, don't be daunted by the prospect. I mean, it's actually a pretty simple, straightforward process if you take a bit of care. You know, as I've shown, you can buy all the parts for the supports off eBay or out of Whitworth and make them quite simply. And the panels, you've got to be a little bit careful with panels buying them off eBay, because there's a lot of false claims made on eBay. Be very, very careful to look at the specs and make sure that the power per square metre equals the claims that they're making, which they often are way, way over exaggerated. Or buy them from a reputable seller who specialises in solar panels for caravans and boats, that sort of thing. But yeah, look, it's a pretty simple, straightforward process. The wiring is generally in parallel with most solar systems to give you extra, to actually increase the current rather than the voltage. Pretty straightforward. I mean, you can throw in extra meters and other things as well, but they're not needed. And you'll end up with a very reliable, easy power supply.